Okay, folks, this is Brandon from Galaxy Doc Market. Welcome, community members, and welcome those watching me on X.com and on YouTube. Today's date is March 7th, 2026, Saturday. It's about 7:34 a.m. as I make this video. And remember also, folks, on Sunday, March 8th, 2026 at midnight, for those of you living on the West Coast, East Coast, and in the mountain region, apart from Arizona does not have spring forward. You got to turn your clock 1 hour forward or you're going to have a bad day on Monday when the market opens because market would have started 1 hour early. Again, spring forward, folks. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. The markets are on the edge. Things are getting stranger and stranger. And this short attack on Iran has now morphed into something much more complicated. And yeah, we've got a situation on our hands. It's not surprising, however. We have predicted that we have entered into a time of volatility, time of correction zone in the market cycle timing. We always talked about the first 10 days of March is going to usher in a type of markets that we are witnessing now. Here's the crazy part. While the rest of the world's stock markets and equity markets have been falling, the United States market has been chopping. Yes, it's bearish in stance, but has not broken down yet. And so we're going to talk about that and discuss why we think the market is on the edge. Here's the disclaimer. Pause it, read it, and move forward if you agree. And then, of course, continue to follow us at x.com/galaxy.market. And, of course, on YouTube, like us, subscribe, and follow us. And then, of course, we have this situation now. The Iranian war continues. Everybody entering this thought it was going to be like 3 to 4 days. I think that's what Trump said when we attacked Iran with Israel. That is continuing and taking a turn for more complications. It kind of reminds me of at the start of American Civil War when the North thought it was all going to be over in a day or two. And a bunch of spectators came out to watch the spectacle with picnic baskets and of such. And then it turned into a rout, and that was the first Battle of Bull Run. And this kind of reminds me of that. You cannot underestimate the enemy no matter how strong we are. And I hope this war ends soon. I wish this war never started, but it is part of what's going on. And from last week's video, I kept saying that war is a distraction for other more important, more pressing things that they don't want you to pay attention to. Who do I mean by they? It's the elites. And who are the elites? It's the banksters, the banking cartels, the richest people in the world. And I'm not going to go into details about that, but there is this notion that I've been perpetuating, and it's not something that I made up. This is a age-old truth, I believe, is that when the monetary system fails, bankers take you to war. Okay, and that's exactly what's happening. And so we have the wars and rumors of wars, and then stock market continues to price in war risk, which seems to be changing day by day. And there's misinformation in this day and age of AI and AI influence and, the fog of war and the distortions of war continues. And so what is the truth and what is happening out there? And that is something that we're going to try to dissect in this video. Of course, we're going to be going over some of the stocks, of course, gold and silver and cryptos and what's happened in Korea. We'll talk about that in this video. But again, bankers take you to war. It's been the notion and the truth throughout the history of mankind. Okay, you devalue currency, and when that system fails, people become very protectionist, and then we go to war and then kill off a bunch of people, take bunch of territories, seize bunch of assets. Hint, hint, Venezuela. Trump is talking about taking Iranian oil, trying to make peace with Russia so that the oil supply does not get too far out of hand. But it all leads to monetary reset. the fiat fractional reserve banking system. When Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971 was the start of that. When Woodrow Wilson brought in the Federal Reserve Bank in the dead of Christmas Eve in 1913. And if you want to read more about that, read the C. Everett Griffin's Creature from Jekyll Island. And that will probably scare the crap out of you about the Federal Reserve Bank and the central banking system in general. But that's where we are, folks. Right now, that's exactly what's happening. So here's the situation, right? We have KOSPI warning. And what do I mean by that when I talk about the KOSPI warning? Well, the KOSPI warning that I'm talking to you about is this. Okay, I'm going to just put this right here. And well, I mean, so we have Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday, it started to wobble. And this is very akin to what happened on Friday for us. I think we are about 3 to 4 days behind the cycle, and I'm not saying it'll happen, but you have to pay attention. It always starts with Asia, and the contagion spreads, and the mainstream media, and the Fed, and the banksters, they're all going to tell you that everything is fine and contained. It's relegated only to Asia, but that is not true. Japan has serious implications, but the real one that people aren't talking about is obviously Korea, right? Korea has significant issues right now with liquidity. And so on Monday, we wobbled down. They sold off hard. And this is very similar to what happened on March 6th for our stock market. If you haven't noticed, we only dropped like 100 points and then people are freaking out. They don't realize over the last 7 months, we have gone up from ES, which is the S&P E-mini futures, from 4,500 all the way up into the 7,000 range. And then we drop 100 points. Everybody says it's the end of the world. I think a bigger move is coming. And then it started to plunge on Tuesday. And then they said, oh, it's just a one-off event. They're just pricing in war risk. And then it gapped down and then started to sell off over 15.5% on Wednesday. Of course, on Thursday and Friday, it basically tried to do a dead cat bounce. Nothing goes down in a straight line, but these are the type of moves that you short. But here's a better graphical representation of what actually happened on Wednesday. Okay, so we just have this at the close on Tuesday, okay, right here. And then we have this watershed sell-off, okay? So this is March 4th, just selling off like there is no tomorrow. Okay, so this is from Tuesday into Wednesday. And if you do not believe this is not going to happen in the United States, I got news for you. There is a serious liquidity concerns that are happening right now in the stock market and in the world. If you haven't noticed, the world is getting really, really crazy at this point. Okay, and that is the distraction that the bankers want you to pay attention to as they bring in a new digital currency format backed by stablecoin, and Trump says it straight to your face. Ironically, the people that are trying to block it are obviously the Congress. Okay. And then, of course, the banks like JP Morgan Chase. And the backdrop of why they're doing that is because they don't agree that crypto firms should be able to lure cash out of the banking system, the traditional banking system, and lure cash out of them. Remember, they're still in a fractional reserve banking system where deposits matter, because every dollar you put in, they lend out $10, create debt out of thin air, and then use that as an asset. Okay, that's the biggest fraud ever, and this is why we're in this situation as we are. I don't have time to really talk about that in detail, but if you're part of my community, I talk about that in nauseam, and everybody understands that. So again, KOSPI is warning, and I believe this type of a sell-off could be a reality. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I mean, God knows that the stock market is manipulated to nth degree. And, while we say, oh, we got to control our national debt, you print money out of thin air. You look at the price suppression in silver, they have printed over $10 trillion since January, trying to contain the silver from breaking out above 125, and it will. It will. No matter how much money they print, no matter how much of a glitch that they talk about, it's going to be a problematic situation. It's like my dog ate my homework. I talked about that ad nauseum. silver and gold is telling you something. Despite all that efforts, it's sitting in a very bullish position. We'll talk about that in a bit. In a coiled fashion. It's a nuclear coil, folks. When that gets unleashed, and I think as this war scenario starts to backfire on the Western side, I just think, I hope peace prevails. And, I hope that President Trump succeeds in this, but it just seems like the bankers want war, and he's giving it to him, and he was supposed to be the peace president, right? And I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I'm just a mere mortal, just reporting what we see and trying to navigate the stock market and the equity market and gold market and crypto market. All right. So I present to you the cockroaches that Jamie Dimon was talking about, and it is none other than BlackRock. I mean, it's just Mr. Fink has problems on his hands. And of course, maybe he should be paying more attention to BlackRock than being sitting on as the WEF president, concocting the next, schemes to control the way you think and do and control the world population. So the BlackRock shares plummet. Okay, and we've been very, very bearish on BlackRock, and it's on our watch list. We've been looking at BlackRock, JP Morgan Chase. All the banks and investment banks are insolvent, by the way, guys. And here's proof. Okay, so they plummet as its 26 billion private credit fund limits investor withdrawals. I mean, these are very wealthy individuals that basically are banking and into this private credit funds that are supposed to be safe. And now, because they're plummeting and because they're insolvent, folks, okay, you think that any of these assets being managed, whether it be SPY, whether it's be Vanguard, whether it's Fidelity, and by the way, your money manager, who doesn't know crap, really don't. They don't. They basically work for the system, and they trap your money, and they make your money basically as exit liquidity as these banks they sell, and they are selling, folks, at the top, and that cracks are showing now. And of course, they're saying funds can only honor up to 5% of your withdrawals. So if you have your life savings invested in there, or a good portion of it, what kind of an investment is that? Okay, what if you did that with your business? Oh, I'm sorry, we don't feel like paying my mortgage or my vendors, and we're only going to pay you 5%. What do you think that's going to happen? Whether you have a mortgage or a car payment, I'm just going to pay 5% today, and I'm just not going to do it. And so 5% of its withdrawal, there's no liquidity. That's the problem. Okay. And like I said, the coming liquidity crunch, the credit crisis is going to be far deeper than anything that we saw in 2008 to 2009. And it's coming. And that's what gold and silver has been warning about. And this is what these bankers are worried about in suppressing gold and silver prices. Okay. They just don't want you to have them. They are accumulating gold and silver. They just don't want you to have it. They are accumulating XRP, XDC, Litecoins, and the Bitcoins of the world, although Bitcoin is going to go down much longer. We're going to talk about that in a bit. They just don't want you to have it. They want you to buy their ETFs. They want you, when this crisis is over, get into these type of private credit funds, cryptocurrency ETF funds, gold ETF funds. Okay, you don't hold it, you don't own it, and you do certainly not want to trust somebody with, with your money manager, because your mom and dad knows a dude, or they use them, and then that they think since they had success that you're going to exercise. This is the problem. The problem is that your money is not your own. Do you think that the money you have in your checking account at Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase is yours in the event of a major catastrophe in the finances? No. This is why they send you these new updated privacy notices, because in the fine print, a lot of times they will tell you in the event of force majeure, those money isn't yours, it's the bank's. Okay? I always say this, you become your own central banker. You make your own wealth. You make your own decision, because, even if you lose money, you want them to lose money for you and then limit withdrawals? Or do you want to try and learn and lose money doing that? I'd rather lose my own money than have some asshole lose my money. Okay, so I present you the cockroaches, which are the banks. Okay, okay, so, and oddly enough, the person that called these people cockroaches, JP Morgan Chase, Jane Street, BlackRock, Citadel, Ken Griffin, Citadel has been basically DOJ investigation. So is Jane Street. They are the ones naked shorting the markets, and BlackRock, of course, and JP Morgan Chase, the kingpin of them all. This is the I would call it trifecta, but there's four of them. So, it's a quad evil. Evil of evils, okay? And this is the problem. These guys are the problem. These guys are the real Federal Reserve Bank. Last week I talked about the COMEX, another glitch, right? All right. So as of February 27, we talked about this. Continued drainage at COMEX. It's dog ate my homework. There's got to be less than 76 million contracts left at the vault, right? Silver was warning something big. And then this week, it's the Federal Reserve's turn where they basically ACH was down. So if you try to send Zelle or if you try to receive direct deposits, it's showing you either one of two things are happening, that the system is so broken that these ACH system, money transfer systems are coming down, or they are beginning to flip the switch. And I've been saying this for a long time, that XRP is that switch, is the ones that's going to replace not only the SWIFT, but a good part of everything that happens in terms of cross-border, but also regional money transfer system. It is ODL, on-demand liquidity provider. It is the global digital reserve currency. Okay? So this is what's been happening. All right. And I know plenty of people that couldn't do anything. Payments didn't go through. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. You still think that this war in Iran is the one that you need to be paying attention to. They don't want you paying attention to this. Okay. That's the real story. The monetary and banking reset is starting, and they just don't want you to know about it. Most people, when they do flip the switch, won't even know the difference unless there's a major crisis. Okay, and then they take a bank holiday, and then they basically do what we call bail-ins, where they basically revalue the money that you have. And so a lot of people go to bed thinking that they have millions of dollars saved, and then wake up to find there's only like $10,000 in your bank. That's coming, folks. Okay, keep your money out of the banking system. Make sure you have hard assets, digital assets, whatever assets, or learn to trade this crazy market right now. Stable digital currency backed by gold and silver is coming, folks. Whether you like it or not, that is what's happening. This whole scare tactics with terrorist attacks and Iran possibly waking up terrorist cells and the oil tankers blowing up, Straits of Hormuz shutting down, okay? That is all political theater designed to keep you distracted. Meanwhile, in the political theater front, this is what's happening, okay? So President Trump just came out and said Iran has apologized, and read what he says here. Iran has apologized and surrendered to its Middle East neighbors, okay? He didn't say, and he's very clever in saying this, okay? Iran has apologized, okay? But if you read what they said was that we are regretful about basically attacking UAE, Dubai, and everything else. But they also said, we will continue to attack you if you let Israel and us use any other land as a basis for attacking. Okay. President Trump says they promised to stop attacks, but that attack was conditional, and they're as defiant as ever. They're talking about, oh yeah, whatever you just saw recently, that was our old stuff. Wait till you see our new advanced stuff, and we're going to be unleashing that. Okay, so he says this, and so but he's saying that he surrendered to the Middle East neighbors. It sounds to me more like, if you read the full transcript, that Iran is warning them, hey, we won't attack you if you don't use your land, letting this guy and Israel as a basis for attacking. But most Americans, we are, busy. We don't really read things the fine prints very, very carefully. Is that the fine print is that they didn't surrender to Israel or United States, okay? And promising them to stop attacks, but he left out that as long as you don't use your lands, like the Air Force bases that United States has, that That's what they said. They're saying don't attack us using allowing Israel and America to attack us. And then he follows up and says, today, Iran will be hit very hard. Okay, so he's saying they surrendered to the Middle East neighbors. They just apologized and asking them, don't let United States use your land to attack us. Then he says today, Iran will be hit very hard. And this is within minutes of each other coming out. Okay, so you think that the war is over? It's not. It's just developing. It sounds a little bit like there's a lot of confusion and chaos, but that's what they want you to see. And for us, we don't really care because this is all a distraction, okay? And yes, the world is destabilizing, but it is going to be the backdrop on why the stock markets are going to crash, why the financial crisis is coming, and why gold and silver is going to explode, while the oil prices, before we were talking about how the oil prices were down, have you looked at the gas pumps? In Arizona, it's at $4 now. I heard in California it's over $8. I mean, that's because of Gavin Newsom, but I'm not going to go into that. Now what we have is, just before these things coming out, we have sent the third aircraft carrier to the Gulf. Now there's three aircraft carriers in the Gulf. And then there's rumors about the USS Abraham Lincoln being hit by one of these Iranian or Houthi missiles, and it's on fire. And then now they're sending these, and of course he comes out and says today Iran will be hit very hard. This sounds more like an escalation, folks, but remember, wars and rumors of wars are going to be used to perpetuate fear for you to not pay attention to what's really happening. Think about the COMEX glitches. Think about the fact that there are hundreds of millions of ounces of paper shorts versus maybe 70 to 68 million ounces left. Okay, Shanghai has stopped reporting what they actually have silver in their vaults anymore because they're all running out because this is necessary. All these bombs require at least 250 to 500 ounces of silver every time it detonates. Think about that. Banksters have failed. Okay, their system is failing or have failed, and war is a backdrop of a new money system. So do not be distracted. That's exactly what's happening. They want to take your XRPs and digital currencies on the cheap right now as they engineer this, as they're accumulating these for the new money system. They want you to sell them cheap gold and silver in panic because of all of these price suppressions. They want you to go out and buy electric cars, which are worthless right now. Okay, because of high gas prices. Okay, these are all engineered, right? Let's review some charts now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over 10-year yield, US dollar, silver, of course, gold. We're going to look at XRP and Bitcoin, and then, of course, oil. All right, and boy, oh boy, have we got something for you on oil. And we basically took a long position on oil about a week ago in anticipation for this, as we knew it was going to break out, and we did very handsomely on that. And maybe I'll share with you just a little bit of our alert stuff. And then SPY, of course, S&P 500, Tesla, Ulta. For solar, folks, pay attention to that one. We have Amazon, so many different things. And of course, our community members get our watch list, which has been performing splendidly. Okay. And the VIX. Oh, VIX. I've been talking to you about buying VIX below 14 and keep accumulating around, and then again around the 18. And I said, keep accumulating around 20 if it pulls back. Well, let's talk about it. I'm going to go over this really quickly. This is one of my favorite directional indicator. This is really the overbought, oversold indicator. And I said, hey, if it doesn't stop here, we're going to go right up towards this trend line. And I discussed this on a few videos prior to this, and watch it if you don't believe me. And so we said that we'll run into here. And there's a very small probability that it could go up to here. But now we have a full-on sell signal. The RSI has fallen off the cliff, and it's been warning us because the MACD histogram down here has been diverging, and now we have divergence to the low side. We're going to start getting impulsive as we get into these volatility boxes. And if you don't believe that we could come all the way back down here, I got news for you. Down here is going to be bullish. We'll be looking for some form of a sharp reversal. Okay, and that's where the money is made, picking tops and bottoms. Very hard to do, but feasible. Okay, so that's what we have on McClellan Summation Index. Let's go over some SPY stuff, okay? And I've been telling you for a while that there has been significant negative divergences across all indicators. Here's RSI, here's MACD, and then I said that we basically broke out of this uptrend line and we're forming a downtrend, almost a kind of a rising wedge. And now here we are. We've broken below that level. Okay, let me erase this so you can see. You can see that clearly. Clearly, we could see right here. Okay, and I believe if there's ever going to be a time that we're going to have a KOSPI like a sell-off, if this is akin to their Monday's opening, this is what it looks like. Okay, and so let me bring you that KOSPI chart real quick. Okay, I believe this is where we are. This is them on Monday. This is us on Friday. And I think we're going to probably open a little bit, maybe come down here and bounce in the first few hours and then start selling off, and then followed by Tuesday, maybe a gap down or maybe just a complete gap down. I'm not saying it has to happen because God knows United States has the most managed and corrupt markets in the world. Okay, you think we have a mark-to-market system? We do not. However, the charts do not lie, and these are basically institutional selling that's been going on right here. And then, of course, my commodity channel index is now fully directional. Okay, I told you at here when they were diverging, it was a warning of a sell-off, and it's just getting started, folks. Stochastics has rolled over, and my favorite PPO ADX crush indicator is now fully signaled bearish. This is bearish, okay? Whenever we get a situation where we have these type of action, that's bullish. That means rip your face off rally is coming. But as it forms this right here, this means that we have a sell-off coming, okay? Very simple to follow. Okay, and let's look at our friend silver. Okay, and a lot of you are sitting there, oh, it's a bearish engulfing, it's making lower lows, but actually it's making a triangle, isn't it? Okay, and it's finding support right at this 5 and 8 EMA. Okay, it has a little tail candle. We're going to move higher, folks, and when that happens, okay, when the suppression no longer works or this war takes a turn for the worst, okay, unintended consequences, it's going to be biblical. Okay, here's gold, folks. Gold looks a little bit healthier, doesn't it? Because gold is leading the way because there are geopolitical instabilities, finding support at 8 EMA, and then we have positive divergences. Everything is moving higher. Gold looks much healthier than silver because it's not suppressed as much, folks. Let's go into some First Solar. It's one of our favorites, and in fact, I'll show you. This is the current watch list that we have on the bearish side and bullish side. And then, of course, we had gold, silver, XRP, VIX on the call side, right? And all of the miners. And then, of course, oil down here, right? Paid off handsomely. But, you know, we have Amazon, Apple, First Solar, Ulta, Tesla, and all of these. And then we have a little gap there because all of these are up and coming ones. We got the BlackRocks of the world, right? We nailed these, okay? And so these are the things that we have in our community. And, you know, I know it's hard to trade, but we definitely have a system that works. So here we are on First Solar, okay? And this is one of the short positions that we have. We've been having it since we've been calling First Solar short since right here. And then now we're manifesting itself. And First Solar, you know, working out very, very well. It's got long ways to go down. I mean, it's like it's been basically diverging, right? Making lower highs and everything is negative, okay? It's just getting started on First Solar, folks, okay? Not financial advice. You do your own due diligence, but unless you're part of our group, right? We still have Ulta, folks. And I said Ulta is like Carvana, okay? There's no possible way that people are still buying on these cheap makeups at Ulta. And they're reporting these ridiculous earnings, okay? And so, and chickens are coming home to roost. Retail is dead. Consumer demand destruction. Fears of war. People are not going to buy in those times. We're going to keep going down. Just look at these moving averages. 20 SMA, that's where it's targeting. We have a MACD death cross. Very, very simple to follow, okay? And then, of course, I have Amazon. You saw Amazon. And we initiated Amazon a few days ago, actually on Thursday. And look. I said we're gonna fail off to that 80 MA, even though it poked down. We finished the week down. It's basically coming down. Negative divergence, negative divergence. Okay, all these sell signals. Okay, if Amazon has a lot to fall. Okay, here's basically head and shoulders, right? Right here. Okay, let me show it to you. If you don't know how to see these, then you need to join my group or take the course or whatever, or learn. Okay, so if not from me, somebody else. Learn to trade, folks. It's your only way out to keep up with inflation going forward. Okay, and then of course we have our favorite Nvidia, and we've been short this name, and basically again we said it was gonna fail. We closed down right at this volatility box. When that breaks, when that 175 breaks, let's look out below. Okay, we have a nice little head and shoulders here, don't we? Okay, on the weekly, these are weekly charts. We don't really do anything really fancy. We do honest to goodness technical analysis. Okay, so let's look at oil real quick. Okay, and then, oh, actually, let's look at cryptos. Okay, folks, I think crypto has a little more further to go. I said that for a while. If it gets into this range between here and here, that's a buying range. That's XRP. Or basically, if they flip the switch at any moment, given these levels, they can start breaking higher. Once it breaks that 3.65, that can happen in a day from here to $3.65. Okay. For those of you that are bullish on Bitcoin, telling people to sell gold and silver to go buy Bitcoin. Okay. All right. Bitcoin, I'm sorry, has a lot more to fall. It's going to fall all the way down to 49,000, all the way down below. Let me just truncate this a little bit so we can see this. All right. To me, anything below 49,000 to 45,000 into this 25,000, hopefully into this 10,000, that's a generational wealth transfer buying zone. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. I just don't think you should be buying here. Okay. So that's what we have. And then give me a second. And then we got this oil. Okay. And so we started accumulating oil right here, oil longs on the futures. And here we are. Oil's going to 100. I think it's going to hit 120 next week. Okay. ES is sitting on the verge. We broke down through below this inflection point. If it breaks this blue line down here, it's look out, game over. Same thing for ES. If it breaks this inflection point, it's going down. Okay. So gold and silver. Finding support right in this area, okay? It's just building energy to move higher. We just need to break above these double lines right here on the silver, okay? 10-year yield. Guys, opposite effect, right? We're supposed to bring down interest rates. No, it's going higher. The TNX is above 41. It's moving higher. Dollar has yet to break 100. It's a race to zero. I highly doubt that the dollar is going to ever go above 100. If it does, it's going to stay there for a short period of time. No one wants US dollars. No one wants all the sanctions and all the things that we do and all the rig jobs that we do around the world. Okay? I just really, folks, we need to end the Fed. I mean, that's just the way it is. Okay? And then, of course, my favorite things, okay? You want to be these guys sitting here? This price will come. It's not going to be tomorrow. Might not be end of this year. Although if things really go to hell and they flip the switch, XRP is the one. It is the mark of the beast coin. But for now, you can profit from it. Buy the fear and be prosperous. Buy it. Buy the coins, okay? Buy the silver ounces, not the price. Buy the gold ounces. Buy the Litecoins, okay? Go buy the Ethereums, okay? Just wait on the Bitcoin. Okay, it's going lower, folks. Okay, they're trying to make you sell your gold, silver, cryptos on the cheap, okay, as they flip the switch on the monetary system. That's all there is. Something big is now coming, and it's now on the edge. We're sitting on the edge. Can they rig the market higher? Of course they can. Okay, and we've known that, but I just don't think that the narrative is there anymore. Okay, so I think something big is coming, and the narrative is that the monetary system shift is coming, and usually they take you to war. In the coming week, banking crisis. Okay, look at BlackRock. Look at what's happening to Citadel. Jane Street is being exposed for rigging the crypto markets and gold and silver market. War is just a stunt to keep you distracted. Watch silver, gold, oil, and cryptos. Okay, those are all that matters, but stocks are going to wobble, so hopefully you have some protection on the VIX. I've been warning you about this for weeks. You got to buy them before it happens. When you doubt me, when you say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I do know what I'm doing. Okay, just ask my members. All right, so war and fears of war. Bullish, get some gold and silver, physicals if you can. Even those premiums are high. Even if you have to pay $105, it's really not going to matter when gold's at 10,000, 15, 20, 50,000. When silver hits above 200, 300, Bank of America is already talking about that. I do believe there's a chance that we're going to be at 600 shortly, in a few months. Okay, maybe above 200 by the end of March. Jane Street exposed. Okay, cockroaches joined. That's Citadel, JP Morgan Chase, and BlackRock preventing redemptions. Your money's not yours with the money managers, folks, not in the hedge funds. They all blow up. Okay, you think they know what they're doing? Okay, they know as much as you. They're humans. They always work on greed and fear. That's it. War intensifies. Did Iran really surrender? They didn't surrender. They just apologized and said, if you allow U.S. and Iran to use your airspace to attack us, we're going to attack you back. Okay? All right? I don't know what Trump is doing. Okay? And there's distractions galore. And that's about the war, right? Rumors of war. But be not dismayed and be not be distracted. Okay? And of course, right? Be close to your family. Praise God. God is the only person that Jesus is the way, folks. Okay, so watch. Okay, we're going a new money system is being implemented, and rest are distractions. Wars and fears of wars. Be not distracted. Silver is becoming unobtainium. I keep telling you, if you can get silver, physical silver, I don't care how much the premium is, it's going much higher, folks. Okay, just the amount of silver that was depleted in all these missiles and rocket attacks and war. War is a racket. Crypto's max fear. Buy the fear. Accumulate the hell out of it, except for Bitcoin yet, until it goes lower. Volatility, I've been saying, got VIX, got oil, got puts. Watch the stocks. I've been saying, go get VIX, folks. KOSPI in Asia has turned. Will U.S. follow in the coming weeks? Historically they have. It starts with Asia and it just spreads over to us. All right, so thank you for watching this long video again at Galaxy Doc Market. Follow us, like us, share us, and above all, comment good and bad, and subscribe to YouTube. And if you want to learn to work with me, you got to basically email me at coachbrandon@protonmail.com or click on the link in the description or profile on YouTube or x.com to find out how you can even join. Try us out. We're that good, so I don't have any free trials, but you'll do well in there. Essentials are $49 a month if you want to join. If not, keep following us here. I hope everything's good. Don't think with your primitive brain. Use your evolved brain, and don't let the mainstream media, the politicians, including Trump, fool you. The new monetary system is coming. Okay, let's get some alpha. Bye-bye.